5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Messi. Oh. Messi!
Messi! Are you kidding me? Come on! This man is absolutely mainline to pure footballing magic!
Messi!
What did you kick a ball?
Everybody, excuse me. Let me do the intro here.
I got it.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Go Get Your Shine Box, and we're breaking it up even more. More than usual, we are going to talk about the World Cup in a way only we can. so strap yourself in and pay attention. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
All right, I'm going to go back to my original, and I'm going to own it. Aloha, okay? Seems like everybody's making fun of me for that, but that's okay. Aloha, Paul. Aloha, Jim.
Aloha, guys. I'm gonna say we're going to move away from all that darkness that we normally talk about, the darkness that is enveloping society, particularly the West, and we'll talk about a different kind of darkness in this episode.
Okay. See, you just can't, can you?
What? There is some bad stuff going on.
Well, there's bad stuff going on in this World Cup too. But this was Joe was bored last week, so we were going to play what's his name? Skies of Green.
Louis.
Yeah, Louis Armstrong.
Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, and play and talk about our favorite
jazz
unicorns.
musicians or whatever.
Yeah. But so now we're, the World Cup is the World Cup. It's a huge sport. It's a huge event, and we're going to talk about this a little bit. And correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. I don't know anything about sports. I know a little about soccer. So don't. This is not a professional analysis, but it will be a different analysis.
What do you mean you don't know anything about sports?
I can confirm
Formula One is a sport.
He doesn't know anything about sports, but he does know a little something about soccer.
So we're in agreement there.
And I haven't known anything about sports ball in long years, and I do know a little bit about racing, but that's about it.
Yeah, we do. I think Joe would be the premier F1 person on this call, but and to me, F1 and soccer go hand in hand because F1 is the largest motorsport in the world, and soccer is the largest organized sport in the world.
Yeah, and they've been compared, actually. There was a rivalry I remember for many years, who's the biggest,
And Joe brushed up on his soccer just for this episode.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Good for him.
That's what you were saying earlier.
Remember Garrett Morris from Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
Baseball been very, very good to me. Football, I don't know. But anyway,
this is the 2022, the World Cup. This is soccer, football. Soccer, it's the biggest sport in the world. There's 250 million official soccer players. That's a lot of official players. That's professionals and semi-professionals in the world. And that spans over 200 countries. But if you add people as a hobby, inter clubs, people that play it, regularly, it's over 1 billion people, which makes it the biggest sport in the world by participation and maybe money. I don't know.
Well, I got to say, if you look at American football, the Americans get like stupid, like in their brains over it. And like they act like juveniles when they watch it. Yeah. And then when you watch soccer or European football, the fans, I think, are even worse though. They're out of their minds.
Hooligans, yeah. They're it's a national sport, which it's something sadly we don't have here.
Well, that's probably why I don't watch those kind of sports because I just when I look at people going just completely berserk,
Yeah.
over somebody playing a ball game. I don't know. I just, I'd rather just go fly an airplane. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
well, now that you brought the CIA into this,
yeah, well, clearly.
we can talk about how organized sports is meant to drain men's virility and distract them from all the bullshit that's going on. So we can get to that part later if you like.
Well, I'd be interested. And I'm probably one of the percentages that doesn't apply to, though.
Well, that's Joe. It's funny you should say that because there is a difference between those that are inherently not interested in organized sports and those that are. Those that are, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, and this isn't supposed to be political, but the people, this is at best anecdotal. I know you like that word, Paul. The best case scenario for me is to compare somebody who's interested in organized sports to a fanatical level versus somebody who isn't would be what happened in January 6th. I tend to think that group mentality is easier to sway. I just asked Ray Epps. He managed to sway quite a few of them. That mentality is, I think it's inherent. I think you're born with it, and you can learn some of it too. So it's environmental in both ways. That's what I think. Whereas the individual who's not so wrapped up into that stuff, but can appreciate the talent, has a tendency to be a more free thinker. In fact, the statistic is it takes 6% of a crowd, whatever size the crowd is, to sway the entire crowd. So I would venture to say those that aren't involved intricately in blood, sweat, and tears into professional organized sports are probably amongst that 6%. That's what I'd say.
That makes sense.
So,
Yeah, sounds logical here.
Yeah, I don't know if we can put that through a test, but I'm going to go with that. So, anyway,
Maybe someday we will test it.
I think
Jump in here, Paul. Let's hear about some soccer.
There's a thesis there.
Are you a 6%er?
Yeah, we can have a new club.
A
Tripes,
T-shirt.
6%ers.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So yeah, we're going to hit you up on some of your trivial knowledge, Paul. This year.
Wait, whoa! Did you say trivia knowledge or trivial?
Actually, I said trivial knowledge. Thanks for picking that up.
Well, he meant trivial.
He's being accurate. Go ahead.
The untrained ear wouldn't have picked that up.
I picked it up.
So. That's because you're a 6%er.
Oh, okay.
So, where did this year's World Cup take place?
In Europe somewhere.
Yeah, Joe. Where's my laugh box?
Qatar
or Qatar? Yeah. So it's the Middle East. So
yeah.
Basically, so basically, it took place in the Middle East. I believe, if I go back in my memory banks, it's the first time a Muslim country had.
Isn't that the place where they throw gay people off buildings?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make. I wanted to just clarify that.
You know what, Joe? I think you're wrong. I think it's more than just gay people.
Oh yeah, well, elaborate.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure your garden variety Democrat would get thrown off a freaking building.
One of our Democrats, one of our American homebred Democrats would definitely be thrown off. In fact, they might take him up to the 4th floor.
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
They don't put up with that shit.
No. So, and it is, it's a Muslim country, and as such, it came with its controversial issues, especially, regarding the soccer, because it accommodates so many countries. Obviously, it's the World Cup. One of the main controversies, as it were, was the promise of the stadium situation, and they were originally promised to have fully enclosed indoor stadiums, because of the oppressive heat. They didn't. They're open-top stadiums, which, in a competition this big, gives an unfair advantage when the sun is moving around, for starters. Plus, the like I said, the oppressive heat. I wouldn't want to be stuck in one of those giant stadiums. And this was really funny. Last minute, nobody knew this until everybody got their tickets and they all went out there and the FIA's out there. Everybody's set up. Oh, by the way, we're dry. Qatar's dry. There's no you can't serve beer in the stadiums.
Yeah, nobody saw that coming.
About that. Nobody saw it coming.
What do you mean? Muslim countries are dry countries.
Well, yeah.
You can't drink alcohol. How could people not see that coming?
Because apparently they made a deal beforehand and they reneged.
Oh, they did? Okay. Yeah,
And
they made a
and
deal.
they changed their mind.
They made a deal before they got the contract and the $300 billion in funding or whatever the hell it cost. How many stadiums did they build, by the way?
What is it? I think they played in 3 or 4 cities, bouncing back and forth.
Yeah.
Hey, see, now you're really getting into the gritty because I just watched some of the matches.
Right.
I
I'm
didn't-
just wondering.
yeah.
That's all. I mean, not that it
Yeah.
really matters, but
Yeah, they moved them around quite a bit.
stadiums got to be, big money to build a stadium.
How many people died building those stadiums?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. But back to Paul's point, they made a deal with somebody who throws, or Joe's point, they made a beer deal with a country that throws gay people off buildings. so aloha that, that's that's some crazy stuff. But
Well, the ironic part of this whole thing is that like all these teams that participate in it, they're all woke. They're all woke teams, but
not
yet
all, not all.
not all, but a majority of them, and they're all like cowing down, going to this place that is absolutely not woke, throwing gay people up buildings.
But I will say this, Joe. There's only one team that took a knee, and this whole knee thing is just,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Take a knee for the next shiny thing. And you know what? Guess what country it was?
Germany.
Yeah, it was
England.
No, Iran. Wasn't it Iran?
It was England.
You sure?
thought
I could have swore I saw the German team kneeling.
Well, they might have seen the English and then done it. But it was.
I remember remarking, boy, look at that. They're all black from Germany.
Was that the Iranian team?
Those are the old-fashioned Germans.
Those are the ones that jumped off the train.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of weird because like you said, Paul, that some of these teams that tried to wear different kinds of patches, and believe it or not, the FIFA, which is the federation, like FIA for soccer, forbid them to wear to protest or wear certain things, which was kind of cool. They don't want to make this political.
Well, but some of the idiot players.
Yeah, if you listen to the statements of the Qatari people, they're like, listen, man, you're coming to our country.
Yeah.
You're going to respect our culture, our norms. And not only that, but they're right and we're fucking wrong. They get some shit right.
King Paul
the Just.
The deliberate pause will start now.
Okay.
Hey, so what are you saying? Anyway, so of course, looking at it from an angle that we are going to look at stuff, we dug up the portion where the Argentines were accused of being racist. They were racist. And why do you suppose they were racist? Because
it's all white meat.
There was an observation by somebody called Erica Denise Edwards, probably a white girl.
Do I need to say it again?
well, she looked at the Argentine team, which, by the way, is what would you consider them? Hispanics, Argentine, I guess. We'll just leave it at that.
They're like,
There's no blacks. Therefore, they are racist. Okay, and like, funny enough, the entire German team is black. Okay, which is that's an anomaly in itself. But from the Examiner, this was actually covered by the Washington Post. But a piece was put out in the Examiner that goes something like this, and I'm not going to read verbatim. I'll just paraphrase. But if you thought the toxic racial oppression in establishment media wouldn't make its way into the World Cup, you'd be wrong. Okay, thanks to Erica Denise Edwards. I'm not.
Who the hell is she?
Well, I guess she writes for the Washington Post. But anyway, the Washington Post is demanding to know, why doesn't Argentina have more black players in the World Cup? Because that's the most important thing, right? We need we need color disparity in on teams, because that's woke. The piece written by Erica Denise Edwards, once again, we'll find out who she is, answered in its own question. Initially claimed that just 1% of the Argentine population was black, More specifically, the country has under 150,000 black residents in a population of nearly 45.8 million, with only 26 people on the World Cup roster. I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but I have a feeling the math's going to, come up pretty soon. It gets even better as you may guess. Okay, this is where the math comes in. So squint your eyes and work this out. 150,000 people out of 45.8 million isn't 1% of the population. It's actually 0.3% of the population. So not only was Edwards and the Post complaining what a country with 1% black didn't have blacks on the team, on a 26-man team, they are wrong about the percentage. So it was pretty interesting. And it didn't end there. What happened was when they were proven wrong, they actually retracted, made a correction. And then young, ignorant Erica Denise Edwards doubles down and claims
that made it worse, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She said, "Yeah, they're retracting, but that doesn't mean I was wrong."
What exactly does it mean?
They should send her to Qatar for a weekend.
Well, I don't know if you heard, but Washington Post announced layoffs. So I'm thinking Erica, going to be asking if you want fries with that a couple of months from now.
Yeah, yeah. And do you? You can't make this stuff up. And this was, I don't know the woman, but that was just gratuitous. That was gratuitous, inbred. She came out of the incubator known as higher education, twisted, warped, and looked at something she knew nothing about, because I guarantee she doesn't even know how many men are on a field in a soccer game, and just looked at a team's picture and said, oh, microaggression, I'm a victim.
These people would be silly if their ideology wasn't so dangerous to a nation, Yeah,
it's just sick.
She probably doesn't even know where Argentina is.
No, probably not. That probably would have helped. Or as one pundit put it, she probably saw a story on Twitter and just took it and made it her own. So, but anyway, back to my take on this World Cup, and I've watched quite a few over the years. This was probably the worst I've seen in so much as I've never seen this many upsets. And I'm a statistical guy, a stats guy. When you have this many irregularities and this many upsets in a highly professional, highly technical game like soccer, it just makes you wonder. We were talking about,
but with World Cup, how it's got to be hard to predict, because these guys don't normally play with each other. I mean, they do, they normally play for pro teams, during the normal.
Well, that's the funny part, because a lot of these teams that are going head to head, the country teams off season, outside of every 4 years, they play with each other on some other teams as well. Like right. It wouldn't be
like teammates from Argentina and France will play for England, or Manchester or whatever.
Exactly, because outside the World Cup, they're free to hire anybody they want.
Yeah.
And
is the World Cup like the Olympics? I mean, each country has their own team. It's a country team.
Yeah, it's a similar vibe to that. Yeah.
Okay. Except it's a singular sport. But what they'll do, and they have their own specific rules, and they've just changed them. So I'm not even going to pretend that I know what the new rules are. But there's rules on citizenship. So you can take technically, if you want to twist the rules, which I think they do somewhat, you can take one of the best players that you can afford. You can bring him to your country, get them citizenship, and then they're qualified to play for that country under the World Cup rules. So.
Thus the black German team. Well,
yes, and not only that, but those countries went out of their way to check the boxes.
Yeah.
And France, not so much. I was a little surprised. France has been fairly mixed up for a long time. England, they're still taking a knee, and they're one of the whitest teams out there. So whatever. It's, like I said, take a knee for the shiniest new thing, But some of the upsets, and this was upsetting, but it wasn't an upset. Netherlands kicked the U.S. out on the round of 16 at like 3-1, I think it was. No surprise.
Were you surprised?
I thought Netherlands had a pretty good reputation. Their team.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't surprised because like you were saying, Joe, I think you were going to allude to the fact that USA came in, and I consider them a box checking nation. Us. I don't think we had the best team we could have had. I think we had the most diverse team they could come up with.
I don't think the U.S. has ever been competitive in
well,
soccer.
there's a reason for that too. We talked about it before. This is one of the reasons I like soccer. Well, there's two reasons I like it. One, it's a team sport, but it's based on the technical skill of the individual. There's 10 running out and one keeper. So that's intriguing to me because you can be lousy and it's going to show, or you can be great and it's going to show, but it's still a team sport. Number two, the poorest people in the world wind up being the best soccer players in the world because that's what their feeder program is. You kicking a ball around when you're 2 years old.
Well, if you think about it, that's why there are so many participants worldwide in soccer because all you need is a plot of dirt and a freaking ball.
Yeah.
You don't need, helmets and freaking armor and suits and
no,
gloves
you don't need
and
hockey sticks or skates or
none
ice.
of that stuff.
Yeah. You can do it anywhere with very little. And we don't have a feeder program in this country. We don't really even have a feeder program for our, sports, so to speak. I think Joe probably knows more about this. I think Canada's got a hockey feeder program that's probably better than anything.
Absolutely.
So
I think that they should spice the soccer up a little bit, and they should throw like rattlesnakes all over the field, so so like an obstacle, that they have to run around.
Because running back and forth on a 110-yard field isn't exciting enough.
Yeah, add some rattlesnakes, and maybe some cobras, and that'll make it. That'll really spice it up.
Yeah, or have some cheerleaders. But
and if you want to talk about rules changes. I can add a couple in. Number one, it's too low scoring. I don't want to see a freaking 0-0 game decided by freaking kicks. You know what I mean?
And somebody explained to me what's with the cards. Oh, you get a card. Thank you very much.
You get one yellow card because it was an illegal foul. If you get a second yellow card, it becomes a red card, and you're ejected from that game and the next game following.
Again, this is what they should do. They should get rid of the cards. What are those guys called to give cards? Are they umps, refs? What are they?
They're refs.
They're red. Give the refs paintball guns. Yellow paintballs. Bam, bam, bam. Just rattle a guy with some paintballs when he makes a foul. That would make it a much better game to watch.
Yeah, and the problem is that as Americans, we're accustomed to watching violence like football or hockey or whatever. Now, in soccer, it isn't that, but you can hurt somebody pretty badly, spiking them or clipping them.
They're pretty, especially when it gets to this level. They're pretty physical.
The problem is when it's clearly, barely been touched and they do the fall down on the ground thing.
They're drama queens.
It's like the kids in the back seat. Mom, he's touching me. Make him stop touching me.
And they do it. They'll do the dives inside the 18 so they can get the penalty kick if they're on the offense. And then every one of them holds their shin and rolls around like a 4-year-old. Right. And then as soon as the camera's off them,
they get shot and runs away.
Yeah, they jump up and they're sprinting again. But what's another upset? I would say Morocco making it as far as they made it. They beat Spain. Okay, now I don't know if there's anything to this, but that's I think the first African team to ever make it past this far past the 16.
I did notice that the media is really behind Morocco on this.
You know why?
I have no idea.
There's two reasons. One reason is they're the first African team to make it this far. And the second reason is they fly the flag of Islam.
Well, yeah, but really, but on a serious note, though, I'm surprised that an African team isn't dominating the sport. If you look at like marathons and running sports, which soccer is a running sport, blacks from Africa just dominate that.
You're absolutely right, but there's more mechanics to it. Let's pick, and I didn't want to get into the racial aspect of this, but if you really want to bounce the what would you call it?
Well, while he's trying to figure that out, I would guess that they have nothing near the development leagues like Europe does, and so on.
Well, they don't. Yeah, they don't have the feeder leagues.
You need that to develop your young talent.
This was developed. I mean, as far as the rules go, this was developed in England. As far as rules go, so somebody like that young Erica is going to come back and tell you how the roots are actually racist of soccer, when in fact apparently the Chinese have been kicking a ball around for 10,000 years or whatever. So hey,
how did China do in the World Cup?
Very well.
Did they do good?
I don't even think China qualified. I
was gonna say they probably
But yeah, I was thinking of the representation of blacks to whites, for example, or any other race in the NBA is unique. And I don't know because it's inherently an American sport. So I don't know if that's a box checking exercise or that happens to be, because they're different people have different skill sets, right?
Right.
And it's the same with STEM careers. People don't go into careers they don't want.
Inclinations as well.
Yeah, exactly. So my guess is there's awesome like Mbappe on for France. He's one of the best out there, black dude. So it's just not exclusive to a race, but they dominate the NBA, but they don't dominate soccer. They don't dominate hockey, and for whatever reason, who knows?
It probably goes down to inclination.
Yeah. But there's different motor skills. I don't know. I know this is going to sound simplistic, but I don't know what the whole motor set skill of being 6'9" is, running down however long a court is and putting a ball in a hoop that's only a foot and a half taller than you can jump. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's a big thing too. Is blacks started taking over when they started growing them, 7 feet tall and whatever. It's less about skill and more about height.
Yeah. Well, even Yao, that Chinese dude, he was 7 foot too.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, these guys are born with NBA, in mind at that point. But so yeah, that's Morocco's moving up. I think, and by the time this is released, it's not going to be a surprise to anybody. But I believe France beat Morocco. So the finals.
What do you mean? You're not releasing this till next week?
Well, we'll probably release it tonight, but the game's already over.
Yeah. It's playing tonight. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's probably going to be Argentina, the all-white team, which is kind of funny. I don't know.
Now, I just want to put out this request. I want everybody to get down on your knees and pray that Argentina beats either Morocco or France or whatever.
Yeah, it'll be France. Yeah.
Whitey needs this.
God.
How is Argentina white?
Yeah,
look at him.
I was thinking the same thing.
You're racist.
Yeah, I don't know the genetic history of Argentinians, but let's just say that
who's white? I mean, I've only seen like 2 or 3 white people in my life. I think that they came from Greenland.
Yeah.
Are you white? Look, I'm looking at myself. I'm not white. I'm like
yeah, you're Italian, man. You guys are all fucked up.
That's a whole different. Yeah, I mean, and let's talk about the Sicilians. They were raided more times than what's his name's refrigerator.
Yeah, us Northern Europeans, nobody messed with us. We were up in the cold white north figuring out how to freaking design civilization, while the rest of you Mongol hordes were killing each other.
Yeah, I guess I got you confused with the Greek, but yeah, that's cool. But
That's a rough history, shall we say?
Yeah, all right, really rough. So I don't know. We probably butchered the whole World Cup thing, but there's a lot of ways to look at this. The irony of it is, I enjoy watching. I enjoy soccer. I don't enjoy the insertion of politics into it. We probably butchered this as far as that goes, but it's just something that needs to be pointed out. Why do people have to? Why can't you just enjoy the game?
Listen, on that point, I can't stand when politics are pushed into anything. I mean, I've been to freaking concerts where they stop their concert so they can spew their politics on you. No, I didn't pay my ticket for that. I want you. You're to perform for me.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a concert or it's sport, whatever the hell it is. It's like, stop already. Can't we just?
Yeah,
live our lives.
That's no accident, man. That's been going on since the beginning.
Well, Bruce Springsteen started that. Well, he didn't start it.
So that's one of the ones I'm talking about.
He was a big proponent, yeah.
Oh.
The hippies, in the 60s, those guys were all,
they did it at Woodstock.
Freaking CIA cutouts and shit,
Yeah. And speaking of entertainment, little Sandy Cortez.
She bombed.
She put out a movie.
Are you kidding?
No, she's supposed to be representing her people. She put out a movie. You know what it grossed? 120 theaters.
$10,000.
No, it didn't make $10,000.
It made about $10,000.
Like $8,000 out of 120 screens.
Are you kidding me?
No. She grossed $83 a screen. Yep.
Yeah. Because so now you tell me that she got reelected legitimately.
No.
Come on.
There's institutional cheating going on up there.
Yeah. The whole system is corrupt and cancerous,
And we had to go back. We had to start with soccer and end with politics because it's intermingled.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just life. Politics is infected into every facet of life now.
Even if you don't want it to be, it is.
Even if you don't want it.
Yeah, I was so disappointed when I'm watching Formula One races and all this woke crap, Black Lives Matter shit. Who cares? I just want to watch racing.
Yeah,
it's disgusting. It's really disgusting.
Well, it is. It is disgusting, and it's evident when you tried to make a comparison. You know how many times somebody said white lives matter too, and you were all but taken out and shot.
Yeah, you can't say that.
So.
I say white lives matter more. I throw that out there once.
Oh well, then you're really going to roust them up. But
then I get in some trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's because you're a provocateur.
Yeah.
But the simple fact of the matter is, for anybody to, I don't care if you want to call it. This is what the pundits do. The organization. Once they say the organization Black Lives Matter, then they're excused from everything else. But then when they say the movement, then you're allowed to protest the movement. According to today's left and most of today's right, using a statement, I don't care whether it's a statement as a business name or it's a statement as a movement, Black Lives Matter, in and of itself is racist.
Yep.
So by their standards, that's their handbook.
Yep.
So they get what they get after that. So, but anyway, yeah, that's a deep dark. That's a white rabbit hole. So,
oh yeah. Follow the white rabbit. I can't believe
that's an Alice in Wonderland.
I know, but it I don't know which way he meant it because it's also a prequel QAnon pedophile alert thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he could have meant it just as there's some kind of rabbit hole, or specifically a pedophile rabbit hole.
I don't know, but he's having fun. So
yes, yeah, he's a master troll now. All the Washington Post and Reuters and AP, they all got yellow check marks.
That's
yellow
just
journalism.
hilarious.
That's good.
Well, you know that the guy that he fired that was in charge of safety, and the guy that was responsible for really taking Trump off.
Yo.
I mean, he's
And
a
Vagina
he's a
Katie.
he's a pedophile degenerate.
Yeah.
I mean, he had an alternate
A
Twitter account that
dirty-
was
Dirtier Twitter account. Yeah.
really bizarre. I mean, it's disgusting, and I hope that Elon exposes all of that to just show what kind of disgusting scumbags these people really were.
Well, Yoel exposed
are.
himself, so
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Last month, Elon said, I believe in free speech. I'm not even going to suspend the guy who tracks my airplane because they use the ADSB flight track shit
Right.
too.
Yeah, well, he can do. He doesn't. He can. The other thing about that is, I use that program, and all you have to do as an aircraft owner, you can opt out and you can make it private. So he can make it private anytime he wants, and nobody can track him.
Well, anyway, he suspended that account today.
Oh, did
He
he?
did.
And we've talked about this before. I don't know why he didn't do what Joe's talking about. There may be reasons. But don't think that they wouldn't try to kill this guy.
Oh no, of course. And don't think that he doesn't have 3 identical jets, and you don't know which one he's on.
Yeah, with his
Yeah.
money, he could do that.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
But yeah, he's probably broached the arena of hatred where I wouldn't be surprised if there was a stinger involved or some kind of guided.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's my meaning.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm talking serious people.
Yeah.
I think we had this conversation just not too long ago talking about that. But if you want to just take it off the track just a little bit, I
That's what you're here for.
I just was listening to Tucker Carlson just the other night. I don't know, 1 or 2 nights ago, and he was doing this tongue-in-cheek thing about global warming and all this shit. He's talking about the elites that fly private, and like a private jet produces in 50 minutes the emissions that the greenhouse effect emissions, whatever the technical thing that they use, that your car does in a year.
Yeah.
Those jets do it in 50 minutes. So all these celebrities, these elites, these billionaires that are flying all over the place that are preaching how we have to end fossil fuel are just tearing it up.
Yep.
Basically holding the middle finger to us. We can do this. You can't do this.
Well,
The whole global warming, it's all a scam. It's all it is. It's just a big political scam.
The problem is that there are malicious and then just useless idiots. The Hollywood types are useless. Useful idiots. This is like a Gucci bag, a social pin for them. I am the good person. Look at me. The malicious people are up to far worse with this global thing. This is about control, changing how you live.
That's depopulation is part of it.
Taking your money,
Yeah.
and probably that's a big part of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, all right, guys. I think we beat this horse till he's about breathing.
Yeah. So we'll see. I guess I'll go back tonight. Last night I caught Argentina. It was on about midnight, so I watched the first half and finished that up this morning. I thought that was a pretty good game.
Yeah, it was. And for those of you listening, this is the best we're going to do on pro sports, probably.
Yeah. But I'll go check out Morocco and France and see how that works out.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
I'm out. Joe.
Aloha.
Aloha. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. We'll talk to you next week.
I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Messi. Oh. Messi.